Good morning, friends. Welcome to our weekly read and discuss session. We are reading the book Joint Solutions by Patty Dobrowolski. We are on page 66, working with symbol. The symbol you received in the visualization exercise is a tool you can use in your daily life to stay connected with your vision. When you are close to something that may lead to your next step, your symbol may appear like a road sign to let you know you are on track. Phil has been looking for his next career move. He had worked for a software company for many years and had finally left the firm. He needed a new job, but he wanted it to be a good fit. So he went to multiple interviews, searched for the right position. After a couple of months of interviews, he decided that he was working too hard. He thought maybe if I do some inner work, I can accelerate my progress. He did the visualization exercise, and the symbol that he received was a BMW, specifically a black BMW 3 Series. Later that week, he was driving to yet another interview when he noticed the car in front of him was a black BMW 3 Series. Phil's brain immediately went on high alert. He knew that something was about to happen related to his vision. He also noted with a surprise that when he reached his exit, the BMW was also exiting. As he followed the direction to the interview, the BMW stayed directly in front of him, and it even turned into the parking lot at his destination. Phil later told that it couldn't have been more clear that I went in the interview and everything about this job felt right. When they offered it to me, I didn't hesitate. It was a perfect fit. The symbol has only as much power as you instill in it. So play with this process and see if it works for you too. Now go back to your map and add a drawing of the symbol you saw or sensed on the right side. This will remind you when you are on track. The plus factor, visualization and working with your imagination as you did is in asking for a symbol and a word is a way of access your intuition. Intuition is subtle but powerful. New studies describe a gut reaction as another sense, along with seeing, smelling, touching, hearing, and tasting. That's your intuition trying to communicate with you. Once you begin to pay attention to that feeling, you will see how often it is working to help you identify the best action to take next. Here is one of my favorite stories about using your intuition to guide you. My friend Annie wanted a more challenging job and was open to the idea of something different. When she saw an ad for a job at a local board game development company, she decided that it looked like fun and definitely was different. While she was daydreaming about the job, she got a wacky idea. What if I, instead of the traditional electronic resume, she was to draw a picture of her resume? Together, we designed her resume to resemble a very colorful and full game board. After all, this was a board game company. After we created the picture resume, we made two copies and put each of them in a clear plastic tube with a visual facing out. So the first thing one saw was a colorful picture. Then we filled the tube with a lot of very really cool toys regarding a set of walkie-talkies. Anne's idea was to put one walkie-talkie in the tube for the CEO and one in the tube for the hiring manager. Because, as she explained, they have to communicate well in order to get the right fit for the right position. Here, unusual resume got the attention. The very next day, Anne received a call from the hiring manager. By listening to and following through her on creativity and intuition, she distinguished herself from other applicants. Let Anne's story inspire you to take your creativity and intuition seriously. The more you do, the stronger you'll become. So you'll be confident and courageous. I'll stop here. Do you want to go next, Wendy?
Risk equals gain. If you aren't ahead of the curve of change, you risk being irrelevant. Renee Godfrey. Godfrey. Kick your excuses goodbye. Taking risks is one of the ways to be the initiator of, not the reactor, to the state of your life. Perhaps this involves something as simple as switching childcare duties so your spouse gets the kids ready in the morning and you put them to bed at night instead of the other way around. Or the risk could occur in a more public setting. You realize that you want to be the person to run your volunteer board's next strategic planning session. Challenge yourself to do something outside the norm to stay fluid, excited, and proactive in all areas of your life. Neuroscientists tell us we are what we think we are. It's been my experience and that it's impossible to feel like a victim when I am actively creating my life and my world. But how can you maintain your creativity when the stress of life starts to creep in? Risk taking and staying focused on achieving your goals requires that you also give equal time to rest and relaxation. Your planning process should also include making time and space to refill your energy reservoir. Researchers have found that when you are overworked or scared, the amygdala, a very primal part of your brain, tells the adrenal glands to send the hormone cortisol into your bloodstream. When the amygdala is highly stimulated, it can bypass our rational mind, making us think everything is threatening. Dr. Neil Nymark says, we may overreact to the slightest comment. Our fear is exaggerated. Our thinking is distorted. We see everything through the filter of possible danger. We narrow our focus to those things that can harm us. Fear becomes the lens through which we see the world. Elevated cortisol levels can cause marked changes in the way your body functions and have a profound effect on your mood and state of mind. This can result in feelings of panic and self-doubt, all of which causes you to think things like, well, I can't possibly apply for that job because they'll ask what kind of experience I have. And all I've done is raise kids for the past 12 years. Poof, your vision goes up in smoke and you stay stuck in your current reality. When you have taken the time to calm yourself down, you will feel more competent at taking risks. Even the simple act of making a to-do list and noting why the items scare you will help calm down your amygdala. High school students who wrote down their fears in advance of their ACT test actually showed a 15% increase in their test-taking success. Your brain looks at your list, sorts for things you know how to do, and red flags the ones that are more difficult. The difficult and scary ones will stretch you and help you reach those goals. By calming yourself down and taking things one step at a time, you will reinforce your confidence that you can do this. Taking risks may be scary, but they are essential to make a dream come true. If you don't take risks, you are stuck in a box. The box can constrain any part of your life to keep you from growing and changing. For example, whatever your response to the desired new reality side of your map is, these outcomes really aren't possible. Peter McWilliams, author of You Can't Afford a Negative Thought, reminds us, our thoughts become reality. Where we put our attention is where we tend to go. Challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Focus on what you want. Revisit your old attitudes to see if they are still working for you. You can keep pace with the changes you are making both inside and out. Feel the fear and do it anyway. All right, I'll stop here.
Take time for yourself. Take time for yourself. Molly is a successful theater director with 3 sons. As her youngest son were about to finish high school and leave home for college, she felt very excited about embarking on a new stage of her life as an empty nester, able to do whatever she liked with her free time. A sudden death in her extended family, often 2 young children. Because Molly's sweet, wonderful, generous, and practical soul, she adopted the 2 children. 6 months later, she realized the dramatic change in her life circumstances had generated considerable stress. Her dreams about a life that was not centered on parenting were going to be postponed for many years. Smart woman that she is, she did 2 things. First, she made arrangements for her family to begin to see a therapist. And second, she decided to take time every day to go for a walk with her dog by herself. Everyone in the family was notified that her time walking the dog was her quiet time to think and reflect. By working with the therapist, everyone had a place to go to talk about emotions generated by the new family configuration. And by carving out time for herself away from the demands of family life, Molly got the time she desperately needed. Almost everyone I know complains about not having enough time in the day to get everything done. When you're really living your life, engaged in what you feel passionate about, you can find yourself so excited and motivated that you push yourself to do more. That desired new reality looks pretty good. And it seems reasonable to think that if you stay up later, get up earlier, work longer, your new life will manifest faster. However, as your intentions result in new opportunities and challenges, or when unexpected developments occur, as in the case of Molly and her brand new family, it is critical that you take steps to ride out the changes with balance and grace. If living a balanced life was not included among the goals for your desired new reality, consider adding this now and decide which bold steps and action steps you will include to that. While you are working toward your goals and visions, take time daily to step outside the business of everyday life to reflect and just be quiet. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom or president of the United States, everyone needs downtime alone. How will you designate your own dog walking time? If you make this a priority, your friends and family will adjust. You simply need to work it out inside yourself first. If you let your life run away from you, you can easily find yourself being victimized, feeling victimized. Just a few days ago, you may have offered to help someone out, but now you suddenly resent that they expect you to do what you offered. If you take care of yourself, make time to rest and reflect, you make it possible to feel and do your best. Incorporate this time into your larger plan, and you'll find it easier to keep your balance and your focus. Compare yourself only to you. We live in a culture that glorifies competitiveness, and we have a tendency to compare ourselves to others as a way of gauging our own expectations of ourselves. Comparing yourself to people you admire can be a source of inspiration, but it can also make you feel that you're better or worse than everyone else. As Eckhart Tolle writes, comparison is in the service of the ego. A drama therapist colleague of mine, Christopher, goes even further. Comparison is violence. Each of us change at our own pace, no matter how rapidly or slowly someone else might want us to change. How quickly we adapt to change is also influenced by our own perception of how well we have adapted in the past. In his book, The Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton reinforces the idea that our expectations and beliefs determine the outcome of what and how we experience our world. Expectation can be constrained by limited thinking. Use all your new tools to set positive, expansive expectations and manage changes as they occur, even when that includes steering your ship around other people's perceptions to stay on your own course. For he that expects nothing shall not be disappointed, but he that expects much, if he lives and uses that in hand by day, shall be full to running over. Edgar Case. I'll read that again. For he that expects nothing shall not be disappointed, but he that expects much, if he lives and uses that in hand daily, day by day, shall be full to running over. Edgar Case. Okay, how about stopping here?
Yes, awesome.
All right.
Yeah. So, for example, working with the symbol, yeah, I agree. I think sometimes it's more about, if you're looking for shoes, then you will start noticing other people's shoes. That's what I have noticed. Like, or if I want something, I'll keep on looking only that thing in people. So shoes was one of the example that occurred to me, because I was in process of buying some shoes, and Whenever anybody I met, I used to look at the shoes. Oh, that are nice. Those are not nice. Okay, I probably would go for some. Those, I think it's more. I feel it's more like, your mind is like. There are many things, right? You can't focus on all the things. There is too much for us to take from the surrounding. So if you have something, some desire or something, then your mind will focus itself on that particular thing. So I am pretty sure the working with symbol works like this here. The BMW, the example that gave, but I think it's more of like this example also gives the idea that if we focus on something very positive or something, like okay, in terms of okay, telling yourself, yeah, I'm the best listener in the world, and then probably you will ultimately increase your ability to listen or be attentive and all those things. So those kind of thing, it's like you're programming your brain to saying that I'm best at something, even though you are not best. The fact it's like fake it to make it kind of bucket that falls into. Um, Now regarding the plus factor, agreed. Like by resume example, definitely if you go and you do something different from what normally somebody does, it's get highlighted. And then of course there could be good reason and bad reason, but generally if it is you do something out of ordinary or something different, it will get noticed. For me, I don't remember any exact example right now. But the other thing is you can't afford a negative thought. So my confusion here is like so there are two aspects, like being practical. Like say something is not going to happen, and you can't just tell your mind, "Hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen." So yeah, agreed. I mean, you can't be pessimist, but I would say you can't be too optimistic either. You have to have that balance, or not balance, or rather tend towards more positive side. For example, I have like my dad is very very positive in the sense that sometimes feel he's not practical, but I think it's better to be positive rather than negative. But yes, it's both is like a balancing thing. You need to be in the middle part. You can't be like you have to be critical, or you have to like see what all cases where something might not go right, rather than only hoping that everything is go. Oh no, it's going to be the best and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Although in the hindsight, if you notice, like things work out. Like nobody like most of the times, but it's still better, I think, to be practical. But it's just my thought. I'm just uh, thinking from my point of view. And again, as one of the other thing is comparing yourself only to you. It's easy to say, but it's very hard to implement. You'll definitely always compare yourself with your like sibling, cousins, friends in terms of either looks, money, anything, but you will definitely will. It's by thing. I just think human psyche to just compare, maybe for better or maybe to feel worse. Either ways, but and a lot of I think a lot of times I have noticed like a lot of people are cribbing Facebook about people only post good things, and so if you go to Facebook all the time, it's decreases your happiness. So because people will never post like I had a fight with my wife, I had a fight with my kid, something is not working out, my boss is doing blah blah things. People will not talk about negative. People will only tell about oh we checked into this beautiful hotel, we ate some good food and all, and then you'll compare. Okay, even you have been to a restaurant like last week or something, you'll still feel oh somebody's going there and I need to go again. I'm not doing enough kind of thoughts. And again, yeah, this is what my observation is. Although I don't go to Facebook very often, only once a week or twice a week. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Do you want to go next, Julie?
Yeah. Yeah. Your. Thank you, Atu. Um, the thing that I thought was most important was um, that in order to really be successful with risk, that you really need to face your fears.
Mm.
Um, but what she suggests is that you should be calmed down,
Mm.
and also that and it's kind of related in the sense that you need to set aside time for rest and relaxation, because I think that's when the deeper emotions comes through. You
Mm.
know, uh, sometimes your fears, but then they need to. I think your fears or your anger or rage or whatever, they need to be attended to. You don't have to capitulate into what they want, but they need to be attended to.
Mm.
So, like she says, listening them, but also sometimes if the trauma is deep, you might need to do some deeper work,
Mm.
journaling, even talking to a good friend, even seeing a therapist. There's gradations of challenge that you need to meet at different levels. Um, but without going through that, you cannot get into the powers of your life, right? Your intuition, your wisdom, your knowledge, your desires.
Mm.
And all that needs time for oneself. So now that I'm talking about them, I'm even more inspired to do more. I try to meditate at least twice a day.
Mm.
When I wake up in the morning, I make cereal for my husband, and that takes about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. So
Mm.
that's my meditation time. And then at night, before I go to sleep, I will sit in my bed, but I will sit on a pillow and I'll try to meditate 10, 20 minutes.
Mm.
So that really helps me. And then one thing, my husband sometimes has a regular lunch date with a friend, and
Mm.
that gives me like 3 or 4 hours a week. And I
Mm.
take that time to meditate. I don't just meditate the whole time. Um, in Japanese Zen, they have this concept of samu, which means working practice, doing some daily work, but do it in the habit of spiritual practice. So that helps to transfer some of the practicing to daily life. So
Yeah.
I'll do that 3, 4 hours. I do a little walking. I'll do a little some kind of work practice, and I'll do meditation. And so that's been really helpful to me. And when you say about Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess that's true. People only post happy stuff, and there's I'm not with that age group. Most of my friends have celebrations or some thoughts about the environment. But I imagine for the younger people, there's more sense of restaurants and a sense
Yeah.
of competitiveness. So that was interesting insight. Thank you. That's right. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Do you want to go next, Julie? Wendy?
Well, a couple of things hit home for me. Actually, right at the beginning and right at the end, the
Mm-hmm.
first quote, Renee, what's his name? I've heard of him. I get emails from him every so often because he's connected with public speaking, so that's how I got involved with him. And then what's last about comparing yourself to others. That's unfortunately with me having been disabled my whole life. I've gotten compared to other people who have the same problem I have. My parents started it really. Say, well, so and so doesn't do this, so why do you do it?
Yeah.
Now my sister does it at times. My sister
Mm-hmm.
brother-in-law have done it at times. So, it's like it doesn't really matter. The thing is, it doesn't really matter. if two people have the same disability, doesn't necessarily mean that they have the same set of problems, because there's different problems that occur with a lot of these conditions. So that's it.
Yeah, so we can now. So moving to our next section of commitment. So for me, I'll continue with my commitment from the last time. Basically, one was the morning affirmation. So wake up to your dream. So that was about eating healthy, and then I decided I'll also, imagine myself waking up and doing some public speaking kind of thing, doing some kind of just removing kind of um, fear of public speaking is one of the thing. Secondly is uh, my gym. So I'll continue going to the gym. I missed it last week, so I have to make sure that I'll definitely go this week. Third thing is one of the exercise last time was to do some maps, the small mind maps. So I'll go and do it. I've been ignoring it, so I want to do it before it's too late. So that's mini map thing. Uh, yeah. So that's it. You want to go? Yeah. Julie, you are muted.
So I want to continue having an excellent relationship with my husband. I made that first or two. I'll continue to work on my book.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do exercise, cardio, on the days I don't play pickleball. Okay, that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
For me, it's just keep up with my exercises, keep up with all my studying and research and etc. This week the exterminator comes, so
What are you studying, Wendy?
I just read different things, in different subjects. I like to read on different subjects.
Yeah, if you like, maybe you can share some information with us next time.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
I'd love to hear what that way.
Yeah.
I get some opinion.
Yeah.
You leverage your knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
One thing I was, can we schedule this like an hour early, like instead of like 9, right? Is it 9 at 9? We start at Saturday 9 a.m. like yours.
What time? Well, you're at 7 a.m. now, right?
Yeah. Can we make it 6? Like this is summer. It's
sure.
I
mean, if it's okay with.
It's fine for me, Wendy.
9 o'clock instead of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be all right.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty early for you. More power to
I'm
you.
going to try it out. We can go back to 7, but I'll give it a shot because it's very like it's getting pretty bright in 6 a.m. itself because it's May, right? And Seattle, it's summer, so
right.
As weather is also getting nice, so I just want to head out early for cricket. So I told you right on Saturdays we are playing cricket. So
yes, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I kept it at 10 because I didn't want it to be so early for you. So that's fantastic.
Awesome. I'll try.
Okay.
Early, but I'll try. Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, we can make it like 6:30. And just do for 30 minutes or something. We'll see. We'll play with that.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Great.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Wendy. Bye, Julie.